Good morning, YouTube. No, you're not early. There's only two times, on time and late. So you are here on time. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty with our guest, but he is definitely worth the wait. Let me see if he's fixed it and if he's resolved it. But no. You are where you should be at the time you should be there. Happy hump day, YouTube. I hope you guys are all doing well. How are we doing? Can you hear me? I can
Good,
hear you.
good morning. I can hear you now.
Oh, good morning. What are you on? A laptop, iPad? What are you using?
Yeah, unfortunate iPad.
Okay, but it just needed a little bit of coffee. That's all.
It was the headphones, right? Those were the things that were goofing up.
Got you. So, good morning. We are with our first ever What's in Your Cup guest. My cherry popper. You popped my cherry, man.
Oh,
Uh,
we did it together.
yes, we definitely did. And now we're even because I was late for that one, you see. So we're even now.
I was
Good
trying to make my
morning,
fancy
guys.
coffee.
I know we have to get that process one day. So I want to say good morning to those that have joined us already. I hope you're all doing well. We are with, well, introduce yourself.
My name is Sean, and I am from LEVR.Genetics.
So it is LEVR.Genetics. Okay.
Yes.
So I used to say LEVR.Genetics, and then someone corrected me and started saying LEVR.Genetics, and I was just like, is it
I,
lever or is it lever?
I've been silently screaming in the comment section and not correcting anybody.
Oh man, dude, I am a corrector. You spell my name Brian with an I, and I am all over you. Like, dude, it's a Y. It's a
I mean,
Y.
same for me. SEAN, not SHAWN
Not
or
not
SHAUN.
SHAW. So that's funny. We both have Irish names, but neither one of us are Irish.
Correct.
So there goes the SPB thing going again. Well, at least with our parents. So tell us a little bit about before we get into things. Tell us a little bit about LEVR.Genetics. How did you create the name? Is it an acronym?
Uh, so it is an acronym. It stands for Limited Edition Variant Reptiles, and it harkens back to my collector days. Well, I mean, that's pretty much always. I'm always a collector. I'm a nerd. So like I've collected action figures and comic books and all sorts of different nerd things throughout the course of my life. And in the mid '90s, it was really big for there to be multiple versions of comic books or multiple versions of action figures. There you go, nerd. That's right, for life, always. But like you would have like the regular action figure and then the glow in the dark action figure or the metallic cover comic book or the alternate drawing comic book. It was always the limited edition variant. So that was like kind of my idea behind the naming, or that was the exact idea behind the naming of Lever. I wanted to make crazy small batch versions of ball pythons.
That's awesome. So I'm glad that it's not an I told you so, but I do like to be right. So I'm glad that it's LEVR.Genetics, and now we all have a better understanding of what it stands for. So, guys, if you're not following Sean at LEVR.Genetics, it is LEVR.Genetics on Instagram. Okay, make sure you are following Sean at LEVR.Genetics. He has
If you want
his,
to.
no, go follow him now. He actually has one of the best sticker, I would say, ingenious concepts out there. He does challenges. He uses us for experiments. He has this wiring going up in that cranium of his that's very unique, and we get to participate in his fun and games. So make sure you go and follow him. He's the only person that has ever sent me stickers that came with glasses, that came with instructions. Okay, so I want you to do me a favor. If you are going to start following him and just do your sticker swap for the first time to get these amazing stickers, okay?
Oh, we don't have those anymore. Those were limited edition. We've switched over now.
Sorry for you. You snooze, you lose. And matter of fact, this one right here is for the incubator. Okay. That one's for the incubator. This is another one. Another same style.
I'll be
We
right
have
back. You keep yakking.
we have these beautiful things that I'm looking at that are shining with these glasses on right now in red or blue. And then we have this coming at you. So we're going to find out more about this design. I remember when this was released recently. We'll find out more about what this design is.
Right, that's our new one, right?
Yep. And if you go and participate in this current experiment, make sure, okay, that you come over to what do you call it, Sean?
The Dream Chambers.
So Dream Chamber 2. Join Jar Pythons and I and the others that have already joined Dream Chamber 2. Okay.
I actually just candled that clutch last night because the mom is keeping most of the eggs maternally. So I candled that maternal clutch last night. It's doing great.
So yes, I definitely do want you to share more about that clutch. I
can't
noticed
see anything with these.
I noticed you're feeding her maternally. I've never done a maternal clutch. I have been intrigued by it, but I've never done it unless you want to include finding eggs late in the day that she had to take
Right.
care of them until I got them. But I've never done a maternal clutch. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I feel like that's everybody says that, right? Like they're interested in doing the maternal clutch and they've never tried it. I'm pretty new to this. I've only had 2 clutches ever. That was last year. So I figured, why not? This is my first chance at making visual dreamsicles, which was that's the morph that got me into wanting to do this. When I saw a dreamsicle, I was like, holy shit, that's real. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss early in the morning, but I was like, holy crap, that's real. You can make that. I want to make that. So for 2 years, I've been trying to make dreamsicles and have had zero luck. Then I had that clown clutch last year, and then the that black pastel scaleless head pied clutch last year. And
Well, that's a pretty good first 2 clutches to have.
I think they were pretty good. Yeah, I had super good odds on that. It was like 4 out of 6 visual pieds on the pied pairing, and then the clown clutch I only had 2 out of 8, but it was still awesome. Anyway, so what was the point here? Oh, maternal incubation seems super.
Maternal.
Yeah, maternal incubation seems super interesting to me, and I figured why not just go for it. I look at it as like potentially a corner cutting technique. Like if the snakes can take them maternally, then the incubator becomes my backup, and then I have 2 ways to get the end result, as opposed to just the one. And I figured why not just go for it and show everybody that maybe it's not that hard, or maybe it is hard, or maybe I'll blow it, maybe I won't. We'll see.
So when it comes to the maternal incubation, I mean, you're very methodical. So did you do your research? Are you following
So,
certain processes?
so what I did was I didn't switch my substrates. I stayed on cocoa blocks. I didn't add anything to it. But what I did was, I mean, she was nesting in the back anyway. I just took the normal volume that would have been in the tub and pushed it all to the front. So it's just easier for me to spray it without disturbing her too much. And then I just keep an eye on it. If it looks like it's drying out a little bit, I just spray it and just keep it moist. I upped the temperature in the rack by 1 degree. So my target before on the hot spot was 90. I took it to 91 just because I got nervous. I was like, let me make sure I have a little extra heat. Don't know why. It's
Okay.
just what I felt like doing.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see how that ends up, right? We're gonna find out how it goes. I would think that maternal or not. Now, I think the only difference is that the mother doesn't have the option to go and find the location to incubate, so she has to work with what you provide her. So I
Mm-hmm.
would think though that humidity is definitely a key. So you were mentioning that you have to keep it, spraying it, and that you're using the same substrate. Um, have you noticed anything with the humidity? Has maintaining the humidity been an issue?
I wouldn't say that I've been doing it any more than I would do it for any of the other snakes in the rack, to be honest. Maybe even a little less, just because of the volume of the material just being all in one place. It tends to stay moist longer. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I have not been finicky or picky at all about her. I just have been basically treating her just like any other snake in the rack, which was kind of the point, right? I don't want to put extra work into it.
So we're Samson has his first clutch on the ground, which is really exciting. Unfortunately, we have Hugh here from H&M, and we say no veins, no gains for the eggs. I love it. It's definitely a weightlifting phrase that we've commandeered. But one of them had weak veins, and she had kicked it out. Mothers know what they're doing, and she had it away from the clutch. I put it in the incubator, and I put it with the rest of the clutch, hoping that something would happen. But about a week later, week and a half, 2 weeks later, it rotted out. So we had to remove it.
Yeah.
He was traumatized. He's 9 years old, but he does have to learn that there is an ugly side as well. So I'm kind of glad he gets to have these experiences. But the whole point is that you mentioned that you didn't change the substrate or anything. So for the first time, for his first clutch, we're actually using the Coco Loco
Mm-hmm.
brand. And I candled the eggs 2 days ago, checked on them, circulated the air, and I'm really surprised. I have the light diffuser in there to separate, but I've added no water. It's been 30 somewhat days. It's been about 32 days now. So when I checked, it was the 30-day mark. I've added no water. It's maintained all water. There's no mold. The eggs look great. The veins were strong.
Still got like
So
press and seal or saran wrap or something on the top sealing it.
I just put saran wrap.
Yeah.
I've always just used saran wrap. So I'm not gonna change what isn't broke now. It's readily available. I had it there. I know others use the what's the harder paper?
That press and seal.
Right. So the saran wrap works fine. And so it's about getting to those temps and maintaining that humidity. So I say, however you can get there and you're comfortable with getting there that way, then it all works out. So I'm really excited about that. I saw that you're feeding her, so she's eating while she's incubating.
That
So
was
that's
that.
interesting.
That's one of the things that when I was doing research about maternal versus putting it in an incubator. One of the big things that you come across is people are like, oh, well, you need to get the girl back on food, right? Because she's part of a program or a breeding system or whatever. So it's like you take the eggs, you have ultimate control over them. They're in the incubator, and then you can get that girl eating again, and so she can get back up to weight and back in the system. So I was just like, well, let me see if I can feed her while she's on the eggs and disprove or dispel that myth, or just see what happens. Because I just want to see what happens. It's all about experimenting. So I let her lay. I gave her 2 days of rest. And then on that third day, I tried to live feed her, and she took the rat immediately. And we've been on it basically weekly. I don't always feed all of my snakes every week. I don't think it's necessary, but that's another topic. Um, but yeah, about every week I've been feeding her, and then I realized when I fed her, I was like, oh, she comes off the eggs enough. I can candle the clutch now because I hadn't candled it before, you know. So she had the rat, and I was just like, crap, let me reach in there real quick, and then that's how I found out she had a windowed egg as a part of the clutch. Everything is strong veining.
We have a window egg. It's the one that was literally on top of the rest of the clutch. So I think that's cool that egg has a window to the world, and we get to get a
Live.
glimpse inside what's going on. So that question is coming from Lindsay all the way in Scotland. And Lindsay, there goes your answer. So not only is he um, feeding during the maternal incubation, he is feeding live. So this is going almost as natural as possible. I guess that's what we're trying to replicate is is what would be done if she were out in the wild.
Yeah, I got to do some looking into it because I'm about 95% sure that we're not supposed to have ASFs in Virginia, but I think you may be able to permit them in just to support your own collection, but not sell them. But that would be my ultimate end goal, would be have natural food as natural as possible.
Yeah, update us on that when you find out. I would love to hear an update on that. Obviously, with the Lacey Act, you can't transport them state to state, and certain states have them listed as invasive species where I think they say they mess with the crops or something. So
Sure. I think it might be one of those sweeping type bans, like there's no African rodents period allowed in Virginia or something. I need to do more reading before I speak on it.
yeah, that'd be a great topic for us to follow up on one day. So Elijah, you noticed the nerd. First of all, you got two nerds here. I'm just a cool nerd. But I have no shame being a freaking nerd right here. So this is from New England Reptile Distributors. We met them. We met Rob. Rob is keeping it real at the last expo in New England, which was awesome. He showed Samson a lot of love. But if you guys look on my story today, I shared one of Kevin's lives from yesterday. We're talking about bans that continue to sweep across the nation. I just want to hope that everybody is supporting and continuing to support US ARC. Okay, usarc.org. Okay. Please make sure that you continue to support USARC and spread awareness. They are the ones that are fighting for our rights to keep reptiles. And it's a sad shame. I mean, we've had a couple of victories, but we've also had a couple of defeats as far as laws that are being implemented to eliminate certain abilities to keep certain reptiles. And once it starts, it doesn't stop. So please go check out usarc.org. Check out the live I posted. If you can't support financially, $1. If you can't skip a cup of coffee and donate that money, that's fine. Continue to spread the word so we can continue to have them fighting for our rights as keepers and breeders to own reptiles. And trust me, ball pythons are on the list because they get mixed up with other types of pythons. So, all right, so that's really cool. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the transition, how we went from this to this. Give us a little bit of the backstory.
First thing, I got my US ARC T-shirt in the mail the other day, and why does it look like an affliction shirt? I'm gonna send him an email. I'm gonna send him an email and be like, "Yo, can I design some extra stuff for you?"
Yeah, it's crazy because they put out these thumbnails that are so bright and vibrant, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get this. Samson and I got ours. We're both individual members, and we got ours. And the first thing I was thinking was like, wow, why is this so dark and dreary? We're trying to do something here. And when you look at their thumbnails, you want to gain attention. You want to draw people's attention to the shirt. That's the whole point. Look at this organization. We will wear ours in Arlington. We're saving ours. We haven't worn them yet. We will be wearing them in Arlington. But for today, I am wearing this.
The best of the best, looking sharp.
Okay, this shirt is the bomb. It is my only long sleeve reptile gear. Okay, and I am a very proud, very, very proud test subject. Okay. Um,
I
and he
get
has a
stoked that
nice.
you're stoked on it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. If I could, I'd wear it every day. But I did. I think one day I wore it like 3 days in a row. Um, it's just comfortable. It looks great. It doesn't matter if you're in the reptile world or not. It just looks like a funky shirt. It just has a
I, w-
great design.
I wanted it to be like kind of a weird conversation starter, right? Because it doesn't really. Who asked about the coffee, by the way? I'm drinking a Cafe Cubano that I made. It's like an espresso sugar drink that'll
Yeah, pure
Get you
sugar up
started.
in there. He got that sugar rocking in there. Sugar rush.
Thank you, Elijah. Or Elijah. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Long sleeve shirt. Oh, I wanted to make it to where it was like strange enough for somebody to be like, what does that mean? And then they would have to talk to you. Um, Same thing about that original snake logo. It kind of looks like a bong, right? So people are always like, "Oh, that's a bong logo." Um, but the whole thing about that is like the 3D glasses, and I wanted people to ask like, "Why is that snake wearing 3D glasses?" And then you could sit and explain to them that snakes smell in 3 dimensions.
Yes, you sent Samson a note explaining that.
Yeah, and it was like that all comes from like why do snakes have a forked tongue? And when I was reading and trying to learn how to explain that correctly, I came across the phraseology, it makes them smell in 3D. And I was like, oh shit, 3D glasses, snake, dot, dot, dot.
What does that
And
mean? What does that mean to smell in 3D?
so basically, like, I am not that great at teaching it yet. I've sat and thought about how to explain it better. But so we have one nose, right? You can smell sort of directionally. You can smell if somebody farted in the kitchen and you're in the living room, right? If you had two noses, one would say, I can smell that fart 10 feet away. And this one says I can smell it 10.2 feet away, right? And so your brain knows how far apart your noses are. It knows the measurements and it knows now, oh, the smell is to the left or it's to the up left or the bottom right. Like that's how the forked tongue works. It tastes 2 points in space. Smell never changes its placement, but the fork can triangulate it.
Oh, so it's
And
kind of like triangulating, and that's how come they lock in
right. And so
and
if you can imagine that they're smelling and triangulating, they create a 3 dimensional picture that way because they don't just smell that it's to the left. They can smell that it's up left and 6 inches that way. It creates a 3D map of smell.
okay, and I'm sure
I
that
know it.
assists with striking, etc. when they strike their prey.
I think that's more just about environmental navigation.
Okay.
I don't know if they would be using that during striking or if that's just all with the heat.
Or it might
Um,
have to do with the heat pits. Okay.
but again,
That
I
that
explained
that
that
makes
very
sense.
poorly.
But it's intriguing, and it gets us to want to go look into it and check it out more. Um because it's definitely the first time I've ever heard of using an olfactory organ in a three-dimensional way. So that's awesome. Um the Nate breeders are maintaining their ASFs for their babies. I mean, that's the greatest feeling. I had this conversation yesterday, and I remember feeding my first ASF that was from one of our litters that we made, and it's just a whole different sense of I guess you want to say gratification or satisfaction when you bred your food. It's like a farmer almost that they're eating, from the field to the plate. But when you breed that first litter and you feed, it's like a whole different sense of satisfaction. The only thing I think greater than that is feeding something that you bred to something that you hatched. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like
Oh yeah.
pinnacle, you know, experience right there. Especially when you first get into breeding, it's kind of like smoking that first bong or losing your virginity. You're never gonna get that experience again. Um, so I think that's definitely a cool thing. So Hugh says that ASFs are on the illegal list for live keeping. So I guess you do have to look into having a permit for it. I guess it's just about maintaining them in with proper care and that they don't get out into the environment. And
That's Georgia, right? Yeah, Georgia has ASFs. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm pretty sure it's Virginia is too.
yeah, there's quite a few. So hey, what's up, Hardy? How you doing, brother? So the tongue goes into, oh, here we go. The tongue goes into the Jacobson's organ for the 3D, right? So Lindsay's really getting funky here. We're gonna have to look into that and get back to you on that one. I just know for a fact that the snake has a fork split tongue. That one I promise you guys. That one I'm very, very sure of.
I'm not sure how they process that data, right? I don't know if it's happening when it's out or when it's in. I would assume that it would be when they're bringing it back in.
So Danny, cannibalism unfortunately does occur with ASFs at times. Usually there's one of a few reasons for it. It may have been a male, so I'm not sure what your ratios are, but it may have been a male that literally will eat the babies because it wants to breed, and that's a threat. They may not have the right amount of protein. These are high protein animals. Minimum, they should be getting 26% protein. I'm not saying that this is the reason. I'm saying that usually these are the causes for it. Um, so if they don't have the proper diet, or if there's not enough of a ratio there for the male to keep getting his nookie on. A lot of times with the first litter, this occurs as well. So there's a few reasons for it. It does happen though, unfortunately. And as adults, when you see them get cannibalistic as adults, it's almost as if like they know there's something wrong with that animal. If it's not dietary, it's as if like they're doing it to sustain the entire family of ASF, and they have to get rid of that one.
Like
Um,
self culling.
yes, pretty much. And then it gets a little gruesome. I mean, they go in there, they eat the brains out.
Yeah.
Um, but it is almost like, it's survival of the fittest, and I've seen them eat tumors off of others and actually not kill the animal, but remove a tumor. Like they'll chew the you'll notice that there was some sort of growth, and then you'll notice a little blood later, but there's no growth. Like they chewed it
Really?
off. Yeah, so they're very interesting. So congratulations, Castro. I know that's a great feeling, especially if you're feeding them to your own to your own babies there. That's awesome, man. Congrats. All right, so it's very, very all right. They got their stickers. Cool. Did you guys all join Dream Chamber 2? Is what I want to know on Lever Genetics
Lever.
current experiment, not Lever Genetics. So Sean, we are SBB. We call each other SBB. We are the same brain brothers. Because we're both wired differently. So what's going on? What's going on with that brain of yours? How's everything going? I know mine is definitely acting up lately. I don't know if it's the change in weather. I don't know if it's a full moon out there. I don't know what's
It's
going on, but mine has
it,
been glitching.
it's been a lot, man. I feel like everybody is just on one lately. I don't know if it's the weather change. People are kind of broke right now. Uh, Everybody's going wild. I've had a lot of trouble sleeping lately. I don't know why. Not making it all the way through the night, and so
Well,
days
that's
have just
that's
been like.
that's a common occurrence for me. I'm used to that one.
And then the yeah, that's the mania, right? That does that. Uh, the pollen too. I'm not exactly
Mm.
allergic, but I think just the sheer amount of it in the air and the breathing has had me not sleeping so great, which has had me all over the place.
That there could be some reality to that because ironically, I didn't get I didn't get seasonal allergies until I would say my mid 30s, but then they hit me hard. And this year, I mean, it's crazy. I sense the change. I sense the pollen, but it's not bad. Usually, I get pink eye and everything. It's a viral conjunctivitis. It's not contagious, but it's the same exact um, how do you say, the same exact symptoms, like the nastiness in the eyes. My eyes are shut in the morning. It's just like pink eye. My eyes are tiny and small, so it's really really nasty. Guys, if anyone is looking for a Batman that was just hatched that will be ready in 3 weeks, please hit me up or hit up Claudio. He has a marvelous example of a Batman, guys. Okay. So if you hit me up, I will take care of you. I will sell it to you for less money than Claudio. How about that one? All right. It's on Morph Market, but if you contact me directly, I will sell you his Batman for less money. How is that possible? Don't worry about it. Just hit me up. Okay.
Is it a male or female? Did you say that?
It's a male, but it's absolutely stunning. My DM went crazy yesterday. Um, he's just a great example of a Batman. You know what they say: quality in, quality out. He has very high quality animals. He's very picky with his adults and what he puts into his household over there. Danny, your eyes. You know, it's funny though. I'm not. Well, I think a 16th. I'm not sure what the mathematics are. My great grandmother is Asian. I think I'm 1/16th Filipino, but I have no eyes. Like sometimes I'm sitting there watching television and Samson will like come up on me or my wife and they're like, "Are you awake?" And I'm like, "I'm wide awake." Like I never understood what they saw. So one day I'm sitting in a barber's chair and I'm looking as he's cutting my hair and I have nothing, like no white at all, but my eyes are wide open. So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, holy crap, this is what they see. And this is why they don't know if I'm awake or not. So I look just like that, but my eyes are wide open. So I think that's my 1/16th, my 1/16 Asian that kicks in. So if you guys don't know, Danny is a Korean that doesn't eat Korean food. So you guys can all bash him, okay, for that. All right. Because he made fun of me when I was talking about ball pythons eating ASFs. So, well, you know what? I'm hoping my allergies are phasing out. Um, our bodies, we've been on Earth for how many centuries now, and we're still learning so much about it. So I'm hoping
That's,
that I'm with that, Lindsay.
that
I'm
also like that holds true with your taste buds, right? So like your taste can change every, not it's not cyclical like that. Always try foods that you think that you hate because they might taste differently.
And you
Same
know what?
concept.
That's funny because I also started doing that in my 30s, where there were things I did not eat as a child that I started trying. Like for example, apple pie. Wish I never did
Okay.
it. But then I started eating apple pie a la mode, and I mean, I was like, where has this been my entire life? But I
What
never
was it about the
realized that.
pie that you didn't like? What was it about?
I don't know. I think it's texture. Like there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny. Like I'm Puerto Rican. We eat something called flan, which is like a
I
custard.
know if I know if flan is yet.
So I get so upset every time somebody brings a coconut flan because I love anything coconut. So
Mm-hmm.
but when I look at it, and this is without even tasting it, just looking at the texture just
With the
irks me.
chunks in it, it's not the same
It's
thing.
not the chunks, it's the actual like creamy, like sliminess of it, I think. So do we have Robin for half the price? You know what? We have to make a Robin, don't we? I think that's what we would have to do. So, good
So
morning,
Jake,
Alan. I hope you have a great day of school today, young man. Alan contributed. It's sad that a 7-year-old had to contribute a snake to my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and his father didn't. But Alan, you're the man, brother. Thank you so much, little Alan, Master Alan.
way to go,
Um,
Alan.
Way to go, man. Way to go. So liver and onions is gross. I'm not sure. I tried liver once. I couldn't do it.
It's good.
Um,
You just got to cook
so
it right.
yeah, I
Cook.
don't know. I don't have that on my list of trying old things a new way. It's definitely not on my list, but I think I'm gonna give the flan a shot. I think this year is gonna be the year that I give the flan a shot.
Oh,
So
you were saying you don't like flan.
no, no, no,
Oh, 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 oh,
no.
oh, oh. Okay.
And matter of fact, tres leches, which is a type of cake, a
Love
filling.
that shit too.
I that's the only thing I want now. So and that happened like 2 years ago, and the same thing. I think it was a texture thing, and then as you get older, you just try certain things, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I've like literally said no for so many years to these
Dude,
things.
tres leches. I love tres leches. I will sit and eat a
So
whole sheet pan of it.
but yeah, my brain has definitely been acting up. I have a lot of things going on. Very stressful. Yesterday was a stressful day. Shootout on my street. I live in As many know, I live in the Bronx, so we have certain intricacies of living in the big city. And Samson was out riding his scooter, and literally as he was entering the home, we have a street level apartment. You hear the gunshots. So it was scary. It was a scary moment. We deal with this on a almost a daily basis. It's a frequent occurrence. You're not shocked if someone gets shot. You're not shocked when, we have like the Citizens app, and it gives you everything that's happening. And this happened 800 feet away, whatever the case is, and you see it multiple times a day. But for it to hit home that close, and the timing, it was a stressful day. He took it like nothing, which is also
Mm-hmm.
scary. That for him it's just normal. But for his mother and I, it was a very, very stressful moment. All the what ifs and everything run through your brain. So
Yeah, I
that
know
was
how that's
pretty.
probably going. That just
Yeah.
try not to spin out on that, man. Don't try and find the
Well, we're
coincidence or the
moving.
miracle in it. Yeah,
We're moving, so we're very excited
that's
about
right.
that. That's another stressful thing that's going on. I'm actually going up, and we have a place, a 4 bedroom, that they'll be coming up to, which I have a very nice designated room for our little extended family. So we're very happy about that. So we are moving, and like I said, it's trees, mountains, lakes, and more trees. So it's a whole different environment for him. It's a little scary because the first time I'm leaving the city.
Really?
Besides college, yes, this is the first time. All of my employment, everything that I've ever done, I've done very close to home. I've run government operations, but based out of New York. My contract, Yankee Stadium, schools, etc. Everything has been very, very local. I've been very fortunate, but I couldn't pass up this opportunity. So I'm very, very excited. And to take my son out of here, he got his urban education. He got almost 10 years of his urban education in. I say, I've been well educated with some good institutes of education out there, and he gets that. But now, you can't teach the urban education unless you live it. So he got it. He got it under his belt. So it's time for us to move somewhere new and have new experiences. So, and I'll
Scrapple
always
and
stay
eggs,
connected.
man.
I'll always stay connected with the city. We'll be coming down probably twice a month. So
Yep. Now you got to go outside and catch bugs and live in the trees. Need that education too. And Scrapple's delicious with scrambled eggs. Love that.
what's that?
Scrapple is just basically like jelly guts in a tub that you fry up. It's just leftover parts.
Scrapple. I've never heard of Scrapple.
I don't know if, how
Well,
how
I used to make Scrapple for my dogs. My pit bulls used to be on a raw diet,
yeah.
and I used to make them. I used to call it like a pate, but because they weren't
It's
fans of the hearts.
think of like bigger pieces that not as smooth as pate or as like finely ground. Um, and usually it's the leftover parts and I think there's gelatin in it that binds it. Maybe not. You just fry it in a pan, mix it with some scrambled eggs. It's awesome.
Hey, anything you could do with eggs is awesome. That's the way I see it. All right. So another thing that's conflicting me is, we're in a community. So we call it the snake community, the reptile community, but just like any other community, you have good and you have bad. And I am often made aware of the bad. And I've been made aware of bad, but asked to keep it close to my chest, and it is stressing me out. Like we're talking predator, we're talking violation, we're talking just another level of wrong. So that's been weighing heavy on me, and I've spoken, I've spoken about it with a few people, without getting into specifics, but it's something that it's like, how do I keep this close to my chest? If you put it out there, you're violating someone's confidence. If you don't put it out there, does somebody else get hurt? You know what I mean?
Right, you're talking about just negative behavior outside of this hobby, right?
I'm talking criminal. I'm
Yeah.
I'm talking criminal.
Okay.
Um, so it's just stressing me out. So that's something that I'm hoping. But I remember when and actually this was in your neck of the woods. I do remember when the whole Texas situation occurred, and disasters bring out sometimes the best in people. But
Hmm.
as a New Yorker, we're always looking for the worst because
Right.
we know that there are vultures out there that take advantage of these situations. So one of the groups I'm in with Segons, right here. Where is he? He's right there. Segons, right there. He leads a group on Facebook. It's a private group we have there, and he wanted to do a fundraiser for someone in the group. We selected somebody from the group from Texas that lost all their electricity. So it was great. We raised money. We bought a generator. We sent them a generator. We knew the amount of money that was raised. We knew what we were doing with it. We knew who it was going to. All the dots, all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed. But obviously, like I said, this gives you the opportunity for stuff to happen. I donated money to not the ASPCA, but something in Virginia, excuse me, something in Texas that was working to try to help
Sure.
people in these situations. So that was a legitimate nonprofit. They had a website that existed before this occurred. I was able to verify that, etc. So then I got a DM from Rachel from Red Bottom, and the first thing I'm asking is about logistics. I sit on 4 different boards, and it's one thing to do a fundraiser. It's another thing to understand all the logistics that go into it. It's not just, hey, give me money. Who's collecting the money? Where's the money going? What's the criteria to disperse the money? How do we choose who are going to be the recipients
Hmm.
of this money?
A lot of
What happened?
facets.
Right. What happens with any additional monies that are left over? Who makes these decisions about it? So I remember that's the first thing I'm asking her, all these questions. I'm like, who, it's not so cut and dry. Then she tells me some of the people that are involved with it, and they're upstanding members of our community. So I'm like, okay, I'll contribute, and they'll figure it out. Um, so matter of fact, Claudio, I know him and I were monitoring this, and someone from Virginia, I've mentioned him on other lives. They're posting that they lost $186,000 due to a fire, that their whole reptile outfit burned down to the ground. Now, mind you, there's no, like, oh, I lost my animals. Like, you're talking money, but you're not concerned that
Right. It was all
living.
all numbers, no grief
Right.
or
Yeah,
distress.
exactly. There was no grief over the animal. There was no grief over the living thing. Another thing is, like I said, we understood all these issues were happening in Texas, but this place was based out of Virginia. And long story
Hmm.
short, none of this stuff made sense. Um, and when it doesn't make sense, there's usually a reason. So when I reached out to the people that were running this relief fund, because word got back to me that they got money, I was like, so you guys gave them money? Like, what made you decide? And so my concerns from the beginning about how the money was going to be dispersed had resurfaced. I didn't donate a ton of money. I just contributed. You
Right.
know, I didn't drop thousands of dollars, but at the same time,
It
I made a
doesn't. It doesn't
contribution.
matter. It doesn't matter. Right. It
I
doesn't
was part of
matter.
the collective. So my whole thing is like, how did this person get money? They don't even reside in Texas. So they did give them a disbursement based on their information, and others saying that what they said happened. No verification, no photos, no paperwork, no anything. Well, we shut that page down, man. But the whole point of the story is that they wrote back and they said, we're not saying that he didn't get us. We're not saying that he didn't take advantage of the situation, but what we're saying is that the reptile community, it has a way of taking care of itself, and it has a way that if this will surface, he will be held accountable.
Right.
And about 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, we started questioning because he didn't even stop. Now he's selling T-shirts for $50 as a fundraiser. Um,
This is still active?
no, that's the whole
Okay.
point. We shut his page down.
Okay.
We started asking questions. We started just putting it out there publicly, and literally that same night. And Rachel was one of them with me. And I have all the screenshots. I keep saying I'm going to do a YouTube and show everyone what happened. Um, I have all the screenshots, all the stuff that didn't make sense on the page because people are quick to take it down. As a matter of fact, they took down their first post saying that
Yeah.
they lost 180 something $1,000 because even that number didn't make sense. Do you know what that is? To have 180 something $1,000 worth of inventory? That's a really high top notch outfit. Okay, you
Why
need to
have we
have.
never heard of you before?
Right. And why has
Thing.
there
That
never been
lots of stuff doesn't
there's
add
never
up.
been a photo of this facility. We've only seen your room at home and et cetera, et cetera. But it did shut them down. But this other situation that's going on right now really, really hits home. Um, and like I said, it's criminal any way you want to chop it up. It's preying on someone that has mental issues. It's just it's definitely weighing heavy on me. So I'm just hoping that this, like the other situation, surfaces, that it all works out, that this person gets I would say gets exposed because they went into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there must have been some sort of threat of it coming out. They must have found, they must have known something was happening because literally they went into hiding. But
Sure.
as of recently, they've resurfaced. I'll just put it like that. So it's almost like they feel like, hey, I dodged a bullet. So I guess nothing's happening. So here I am again. So it's just weighing heavy, man.
So I
But
think it's
but
like in stuff like that, it's important for us, we got to stand up for the right thing. We got to do what's right. But it's also really a fine line because of like the call out culture that has been created. We got to make sure that like we stand up, do the right thing, make sure that other people don't get hurt. We protect people that cannot be protected, but we also got to make sure that we don't take joy in taking somebody down or
see,
calling them out for being wrong because people are so
yes,
inclined to
yes,
bandwagon on and to
yes,
virtue signal and be like, hey, I was part of that. Remember that scumbag? I was part of that. Fuck that dude. All this stuff. And that's bad too. That's super negative. That doesn't portray anybody in a positive light. Let's do what we can to make sure that bad stuff doesn't happen to people. We'll call
yeah.
out people.
It's the mob mentality.
Yeah, but
That's
don't jump on or
my. You
crucify
know what
people
my
or burn them.
concern? And I'm glad that you said that because my concern is not that. It's not the beating of the person. They'll get theirs. That they'll definitely get theirs one way or another. Um, my concern is more so the well-being of the victim.
Right.
Okay, my concern is that person harboring this secret, not getting help that they may need, not getting their mind fixed on it, and thinking that it's just going to go away. And something of this nature doesn't just go away.
Right.
So that's more of my concern, and the fact that we're dealing with social media. It's a public forum. So you're going to see everything that other person does. And does this person have a mental breakdown in the future because they kind of, I was thinking of it more kind of like, your closet that you want to clean up your place. So you shove everything in this one closet, and you're kind of like just storing it away out of sight, out of mind, but it's there. And then one day you open up that closet and everything just comes pouring out.
Footballs and bowling pins and a
Exactly.
skeleton.
Yeah, you get cracked in the head with that bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing is I'm more concerned about that person's well-being than the lynching of the other person involved.
Does
So
that person know that you're there for them?
yes,
Yeah.
I've made that clear, and I just thought that it would actually be better for them to be connected with other people. So I've made those introductions where they can reach out to other people and speak in confidence, and people that could understand the situation more so than I, and be more, more empathetic. I'm compassionate to the situation, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are others that they can relate to more so. But it's still been weighing heavy on me, and I guess the resurgence of this person, it's just now it's in my face again. So yes, Hugh, unfortunately, the answer to that question is yes, but the saving grace is the person is no longer part of the community. So you got a couple of $100, but at what expense, So that's how I see it. So yeah, you remember, Claudia, how that was. So
Flippers, huh?
yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm with you, Serge, guys. It's 7:00 in the morning. Well, at least we started at 7:00 in the morning. We had some coffee. We're trying to make it over the hump on hump day. Hit that damn like button. You shouldn't have to be told anymore to hit that like button. Okay.
Hit
And guys,
it.
spread the word. We want to have this. We're halfway there to the 1,000 YouTube subscriber mega giveaway. 8 snakes, sticker packs. Matter of fact, I have one of these sticker packs for the giveaway. Okay. With, where is it? Bam. With a limited edition pin. Okay. So that's one of the gifts. There's a lot of different gifts in there. So, all right. So, what's going on, brother? Besides the maternal incubation, I had a nice shed this morning. I love checking the bins, and
Excellent.
down to the ICAS, guys. This is pretty much consistent. Make sure your humidity and your temps are good. Okay. If
And you get
any
that
of
sock
you
every time.
If any of you can guess, let me just close you out for 1 second so I can show this shed, and you could be included in this, Sean. But if any of you can guess, and it doesn't have to be specific, it is a multi-comboed animal. But if any of you can guess the gene on this animal, I will buy you a cup of coffee today, or any day you choose. I'll send you a Dunkin' Donut gift
Slow,
card.
slow it down. Go back.
All right, so this one is not as easy as the last one I did. Let me start at the eye caps over here. The last time I did this, it was pretty easy. Look at that those beautiful eye caps. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, but if any of you can guess this.
I think I'm gonna guess Mojave something. I thought I saw some donut-y looking shapes.
And okay, no Mojave. And it's funny that you say that, because Mojave is definitely the most represented gene in my collection. Okay. Which is crazy because I never realized it until one
Really?
day. Yeah, it came up in conversation. So I start looking at, and when I say my collection, I'm talking about Samson's collection. I start looking at that, and I'm like, wow, we really do have a lot of Mojaves. And I started listing all the Mojave combos, and I'm like, wow, this is the most represented gene, And I was speaking about this the other day. It just does so much. You can go from an all white snake to a very dark snake. You go from a bell
To a
to
purple snake.
a black magic to a mystic potion, to awesome combination. So it's just like, gosh, for one gene that looks like a normal, pretty much, it's just a beautiful, beautiful, classic looking, ball python. So I'm like, now I see why it's up in there. So
So
what are you
besides,
doing up, Sandra? Sandra, this is too early for you. And it's not trick. It's not ghost. Let me see. It's not genetic stripe. No, guys, you guys aren't even close. We're not even close, guys.
nobody's close, huh? So maternal
So,
incubation, we're doing that. I'm also working on bringing new genetics into the lab.
so let's
First
talk about those new
expansion.
genetics you're bringing in.
We'll have to wait till they get here. They have something to do with Timothy Leary.
Oh, okay.
But first new genetics in 2 years should be coming this week, maybe next week. We'll see.
And how are your pie projects going?
Uh, pretty okay, would be my guess. I've got some het clutches that I'm working towards this year. Obviously, we've got the Dreamsicle, and that project I think I should have 3 shots at this year if things go right.
I gotta get this man. I gotta get this man a cup of coffee. The Ultramel King. Is this the Ultramel King? No, it's not. But Prince King, I am going to have to get you a
Banana
cup.
pastel. Nice.
It definitely has banana in it. So that came from a banana spider. Might have pastel in it, but I'm not sure. No, banana spider, Enchi. I want to say lesser. But yeah, you win yourself the main gene in that one is banana. You got yourself a cup of coffee. DM me your information and I'll get you that coffee up there. You did a great job on that. So Sean,
Nice.
can you guess? So guys, like I mentioned earlier, Sean of LEVR.Genetics was the first guest ever. We were talking one day and we were like, let's have a show. Let's talk about mental health. You know, a lot of us have a little bit off center minds or we're wired differently and let other people know that it's okay. And I think that it's one of the common factors in the reptile world, especially when people have collections and they have so many in their collections. You know, you can't really be that I guess what society would call normal once you get into the multi-snake world. Okay,
Yep, we just need to talk about it more.
that's it, and let people know that trash tell. You know, just for the record,
This is
I am not a fan of pastel, guys. You've heard me discuss this many times. Um, I'm not a fan at all. Only because of what it does as the snake ages out. But when and this is one of the things I love about Sean and the name of your company and your outfit, genetics. That's what got Samson and I into this was the entire studying of genetics because Samson actually, as white as that boy might look, can't deny his blackness. He has the sickle cell trait and it's one of the things that at a young age, we wanted to make sure he understood and what the implications of that was. So we got into genetics when we went to a reptile show. And Jay from, he does a lot of stuff with Matt Lee, ML Reptiles. He does a lot of stuff
mm-hmm.
with him. And Jay is like a teacher and he just starts breaking everything down to us. And Samson is 6 years old. And I mean, he's just hanging on every word, you know? Um, and he's explaining heterozygous. He's literally explaining a het gene to a 6-year-old, and my son is just like enthralled in this whole conversation. So I was loving it. And that's literally the first ball python we had. And I have a hashtag. Any of the snakes that we keep, their name tells their story.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was a spider het albino and the name was Mendel Parker. Okay, Dr. Mendel being the father of genetics, and Parker for Peter Parker being a
For
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
So I'll never forget that. So the whole point is there are some genes, obviously, that in and of themselves may not be that appealing to the eye. But like Mojave, for example, I love a single gene Mojave, a nice, beautiful single gene. Matter of fact, House of Gaia up in Canada, they had posted a single gene Mojave, and this thing looked like it had batteries in it. The dorsal stripe was so bright on it, and he was like, "No, it's a single gene." But then when you put them in certain combinations, so pastel is one of those genes. I would never get a pastel clown. They just really brown out and look very muddy as
Mm-hmm.
adults. But when you combine the pastel gene with certain genes, they work very well together. If you look at that sticker of Samson that he's holding the snake, that is an Enchi firefly, and this thing is just aging amazingly well. Every shed, it's like has a brighter hue to it. So, you just have to find the right genes to accompany pastel, and you have to avoid certain combinations as well. So,
Yeah, it
uh,
fits in certain places, right? And then other places I agree wholeheartedly. Super pastel, just like, ugh, get out of here. Just blown out, not super into it.
yeah,
But it
same
has its
thing.
place and you can work it out.
Yep. It's funny you say that. Um, I believe Fire, Orange Dream, Enchi. There's a few other either brightening genes out there or lightning genes out there that it works really well with, and over time it maintains that color. People love pastel with Desert Ghost, so it's definitely out there. So what are we talking? Oh, so we're talking about all of these mental health conditions. So yes, I think there's a ton of people with ADD or ADHD, me being one of them. Sandra, I agree with you, like-minded people. So most of us are a little off center. And I think that because of that, you know, we have to be there for each other. So I think people have to remember that. Check on your friends once in a while. Make sure they're okay.
True that. Yeah, the
You know.
genetics thing was important to me to put it in the name of the company as well because I'm obsessed with just how genetics are expressed through all life, right? Like the ideas of genetic memory, um, just seeing the expressions of the genes in ball pythons, bipolar. Um, bipolar is probably a genetic condition. I think there's a 50-50 shot if you have a bipolar parent that you're going to end up bipolar. And so just like everything with genetics is like super interesting to me. Just they're crazy building blocks that we can't deny that have a lot of more control over us than I think a lot of us are willing to admit.
Yeah, like you being 6'4" and me being 5'7". You know, genetically, I got the short end of the stick there.
Right? I mean that's my Nordic heritage. We're all tall. My mom's like
But my
5'10".
father's 6 feet tall. Damn it!
So you, luck of the draw, right?
But my mother's 5 feet tall, so I came out a little bit more
So
than the halfway mark, right?
right, you averaged out on the win column, so you moved it forward in that way. How's Samson doing? You think he's going to be taller than you?
He is 9 years old, and he's already 4'8", 99 pounds. So yeah, I think he got that. I think he got the tall gene. I think
Yeah.
he'll be there when people see him. So it was funny. Carlos was one of the first people on here. Danny, I know there's a lot of other stuff going in there. If you paid $1,000 for a pastel meal, I know you got a lot of other genes in there. You're not listening. So somebody had seen him. They were like, I thought the CEO was a lot bigger. I was like, dude, he's 9 years old. They were like, oh wow, like he's 9 years old. I was like, yeah, he's only 9 years old. He has a mind that's a little bit beyond his years, but he has a body that he's a big boy, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely a big boy. So my dad is 6'4", mom is 5'8". I'm stuck at the middle at 6. Yeah, I'm stuck in the middle too, but I didn't start out with those sides. Your mother's taller than me, man. I'm looking up at your mom. All
Yeah,
right,
I
so
think I hit 6 foot around seventh grade, maybe.
oh man, that's lovely.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like 100 pounds, 6 foot, size 13 shoes. Ladies loved me. I
So that's the funny part. I have big body parts everywhere, like everywhere but my legs. Um, and I say it. I was supposed to be a 6 footer, just the legs didn't grow. Like I have
hmm
pretty large feet for my size, a huge back, chest. It's like I was supposed to be a 6 footer. I just stopped growing.
What about have you ever measured your arm span, like your total
Oh
reach?
no, I'm a T-Rex. Um,
Oh, you got a little short
yeah,
negative
yeah,
index.
yeah. My daughter calls me a T-Rex. So that part, yeah. I guess it's all my limbs. So, all right. So genetics, it was definitely intentional when you did it. Everything you do is very methodical. So I love that. Um, we'll talk about the genes when you get them. I look forward to those posts. How's everything going with the Dream Chamber challenge?
So the USPS has the stranglehold on that. Like our mail system is so banged up here. I'll go weeks and there'll be nothing in the PO box, and then maybe there'll be
And then you
7
just got, and then you got a
or
Christmas
15 of them.
package. Yeah.
Right, and I check it every other day. It's right down the street. I ride my bike over to it, but like it's just how bad our system is. Like I have a friend that works in one of the buildings as an equipment operator, and she's like, "Sean, you would not believe it. It looks like people don't work there anymore. There's like boxes falling off the shelf. There's just
Well,
mail everywhere."
think about this for a second, right? Do you remember the phrase? We're talking about mental health, but the phrase "going postal."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so prior to our new norm, this pandemic and COVID-19. Okay, prior to this world, people went postal because the mail never stops. My father was a postal worker. He was a mailman in Puerto Rico. Pretty decent gig out there. They get the same pay rates while the cost of living is a lot cheaper on the island. It's still federal. So I went to work with him one time, and I could snitch. He's 6 feet under the ground right now. They can't do anything about it. So I went to work with him one time, and it was ridiculous. He did his route real quick. They rushed to do their route so they could go meet up, go drink at a bar. Think about that. Go
Yeah.
drink at a bar. You and I no longer drink. I have 15 years. I forgot how long you are, but that's something that you've put to the side as well. 5 years, congratulations. Um, they all of them. We get to the bar. My father was late. It was a whole bunch of mail carriers there. Then they stay there for a while drinking. Then they go back, pick up another bin or two, and do another route, whatever. So I was like, "Why do you do that?" He said, "We pace ourselves because if we go out and knock it out and we go back, there's always work."
It's never
Okay,
it's there's no finish line. There's no sense of accomplishment or anything. It's just
it doesn't. It's always there.
mm-hmm.
So, and I remember my father being an alcoholic. One of the reasons I quit drinking as well. Um, when that man died, they had to take his route and split it in two. No one could do my father's route in a timely
Right.
manner, which was crazy. He had what's called the Golden Mile in Puerto Rico, which is kind of like their Wall Street, like the whole
Okay.
financial center. And that went all the way down into like one of the worst projects in Puerto Rico. So it was crazy. He went from the richest to the poorest on one route. But no one could handle this man's route. And this guy did this forever, and he did it drunk. Okay,
Right.
so that's the even crazier part of it. Um, so if we look at COVID now, guys, let's just think about this. First of all, you're dealing with federal employees, and as someone who's run federal operations, you don't always get the best employees federally. In the federal government, there's a certain mentality. I remember asking someone when they were retiring, "How did you do this for 20 years?" And his exact response was, "You have to learn how to take 2 hours of work and stretch it over 8." Okay, think about that. All right,
We
that was
call that Cadillacing.
well. There you go. You had to learn how to Cadillac that work, stretch it over. You don't because if you finish, there's gonna be more work. That doesn't work for me. I have the ADHD. I have to do a lot of things at once. By 9 o'clock in the morning, I've already accomplished more than some people do in their entire week. You know, but
I want to see an
that
end result though, right? I want to be like, oh, you can put it down like this work
right, and
is done.
move on to something else. Right. So So when he told me that, it gave me a reality. This is what you're dealing with. It's kind of like when you're dealing, when you go to the DMV and you're dealing with state employees or city employees. They got a job. That's it. They punch in, they punch out. It's not goal oriented. It's time. I'm getting paid the same no matter what. They kind of coast. Me, I'd rather work, makes the time go faster. But I guess that's it. Yeah, exactly. You guys understand how it is, and then we wonder why people milk it. So, um, but if you look at where we are now, guys, let's just think about this. We have not just America, but we're gonna just focus on the USA. but the entire world dealing with a pandemic where the majority of people have been some way, shape, or form stationed at home, working from home. Everyone's gone remote, schools, shopping. Just think about this. Amazon has tripled in value, okay, because of the at-home shopping. What a lot of people don't realize, UPS, FedEx, Amazon, they all use USPS. Okay. Although you are contracting FedEx, which is funny, it shows you how low the rates are for USPS. They actually use, so I think they do to the tune of 3 to 4 million packages a day for other companies. Okay. The United States Postal Service actually delivers other carriers to the tune of 3 to 4 million. And that's pre-COVID. Okay. So just think about that with the increase of at-home shopping. Now, you have federal employees with federal leave that are taking that COVID, I have COVID, or taking the time off. So we have less employees doing 2 to 3 times more the work that they weren't even doing before.
Less
Okay.
money, less equipment.
So
Everything is stacked against them right now.
so
It
so
is.
that our stickers are at the bottom of the totem pole, man. I have 2 animals
Yeah.
en route today, and that will be like my stressor for the day until I hear that they've arrived to their home safely. I have one baby that went to Utah, one baby that went to Michigan, and pretty much I am just waiting to hear that they got them. They're great, they're safe, and all that good stuff. So,
Same for union work. What does that mean? I want to
stretching out the day,
bullshit. Bullshit. I'm
Cadillacing.
I'm a union member. I'm a union member and I
But
bust my ass.
I don't know, because you're a different type of union worker. You're not a union worker where like you have the luxury of time. You're dealing with,
I would agree because there are union dickheads that will sit there and
like, if you look at construction and union, right? You go to a non-union state like Texas, they'll
mm,
build a highway that crosses many counties, different mayors, different political um, elected officials, whatever the case is. They'll do that in months to a year. You
mm,
do that same stretch of highway in the union state, you're looking at 5 years.
and
Okay.
you also pay the employees better, give them health insurance, take care of them, treat them
This
like
guy is
people.
this guy is snitching on himself. Look at this. He's snitching on himself.
Hell yeah.
And he drives a nice way to work, let me tell you. And has a nice collection. So that union's paying you well, Danny.
What local?
Uh
What are you doing? And congratulations on 2.5 clean and sober. Keep going. Shit's not easy.
it isn't, guys. If you're even one day, sober, pat yourself on the back. I mean, it's not easy. For me, I went through a very, very ugly, ugly situation that just told me today's the last day I will never drink again. And I have fortunately have been able to go 15 years. I can't even remember what it's like to drink, to be honest with you.
Does it still bother you? Do you still notice wanting to drink at all ever?
No.
No?
Uh-uh. Nope. I was never much of a drinker, to be honest with you. It was more based on the industry. I was in the music industry at the time, and it's part of the culture. I was in the clubs about 4 or 5. Let me see, five. I would say 5 or 6 nights a week, depending if we had private like celebrity parties. But as
Mm.
far as club gigs were concerned, I had 5 nights booked in the clubs. So that's just part of the culture.
Right. It's
People are
just
buying
part of the
bottles,
job.
have a drink. You're literally talking over drinks and making deals over drinks. Um, so you could see his place on The Sopranos. Danny's a big boy, man. When he said he was Korean, you get these images. And when I met him at a show, I was like, "Did anybody tell you were Korean? This guy looks like freaking The Rock." Um. So no, not at all. My wife drinks. I get gifted still bottles, of alcohol. People go on trips and they're like, "Hey, you want me to bring you anything?" I'm like, "Sure, bring me a Henny White." Like they go to, the Bahamas or Dominican Republic. I'm like, "Sure, bring me a bottle of Henny White." I'll either re-gift it or my wife drinks it, or so I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not even a heavy drinker. She's two drinks and it's party time. Um, but no, I don't miss it, not at all. I was never much of a fan, and I drank. I could drink.
Mm-hmm.
I could It's in my genetics, I was born of it. It's definitely in my genetics. But anger issues, mental issues, and alcohol is a horrible, horrible combination. Okay, that's
I
that's
got
where
sober in jail. That's where I finally got
it.
sober.
So I was very fortunate not to end up in jail, but it took 5 NYPD to subdue me the last day. I'm vertically challenged, but I'm a bull.
Right.
Okay. And it took five, and the stories had what happened that night had to be told to me. I had absolutely no recollection at all of what occurred. So to know that it was such a crazy night and I had no recollection at all, and that it took five. First of all, I was kind of proud that it took five of them to subdue me, uh, which is sad that you're even thinking that. You know what I mean? But it's like, and then I
Ah,
I,
get it
I
where you can
speak to
take it.
I speak to some of my friends in law enforcement, and I'm like, now mind you, they put it on me too.
Right.
So I speak to my friends in law enforcement. I'm like, dude, how did I not get arrested? And they were like, you probably just gave them a go, and they gave you credit for it. Like they gave you props for that. So I've never been into cigarettes. A nice little cigar here and there. I don't want my life insurance company to hear that. Um, smoke. I'm a non-smoker, so let's see. That's awesome. That is very awesome. Now, one of the things for me though, I was in the club the same night I quit drinking
Mm-hmm.
because again, it was I was in the industry at the time and we had a show and I was backstage. We had a great show that night and I literally just said no every time there was a bottle near me. So I've never been one to shy away from it. Um, Again, I have no problem. My wife, she's a social drinker. I go to family events. I go out.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends that passed away, lifelong friend, he was more family than friend, Christian. Um, he used to mess with me all the time. And he traveled a lot, and whenever he was in New York City, he'd let me know ahead of time and he'd say, let's go meet up. And we'd meet up at the bar, a local bar by his hotel or the bar in his hotel, and he would just screw with me the entire time. Like he'd have the sifter in his hand, and I was a cognac I was a cognac man. And he'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, so you sure you don't want to drink, you sure? Oh, too bad for you, so he would mess with me. But I've never been one that couldn't be around it. I don't fear
Right.
a relapse. I know that I was blessed to not have killed anybody that day, to not have been incarcerated that day. So when I made that promise to not drink again, and God willing, I keep that promise every day. And it's awesome. Samson is he'll be 10 years old in October and has
Mm-hmm.
never ever seen a drink in my hand. He's
That's
never seen
awesome.
he's never seen a beer. He's never seen a glass of wine. And like I said, he's been to family gatherings. He sees people drinking, but he's never seen that monster. Okay,
Right.
and that's what I want to make sure that he doesn't ever see that because
I
it's
mean, and
definitely.
I mean, I wouldn't even worry so much about that as like just so much about like the normalizing of alcohol because our whole society makes it that way. Like it's so normal to drink and things like that. It's not like, obviously the trauma and the hurt and the scariness of being a monster around your kid that would fuck them up pretty bad. But like seeing their dad have a drink in their hand all the time or it being cool, then they're more predisposition to do that, and then you have to worry about him being the monster than seeing. That's where my worry is.
Well,
Because I
I
feel like
think
that definitely.
when you
Go
quit
ahead.
smoking, you're guaranteed to gain weight. Okay. So when you, and it's psychological because let's see, marijuana, if you were quitting smoking marijuana, it's not physically addicting. Okay, there might be a mental aspect to it, but there's no, and this is scientific, guys, not opinion. But nicotine has a physical addiction, but that addiction only lasts 3 days. So there's also more of the mental addiction to that because you get this fixation hand to mouth. Okay, so when you quit smoking, you replace the hand to mouth with gum, food, right? So now we're replacing the hand to mouth with food. So you're pretty much guaranteed to gain weight. That's awesome, Sumbito Morris. 15 years is awesome. I'm there with you. That is
Oral
awesome.
oral fixation.
Yes, definitely. So Erin has been extremely busy. I'm going to forgive her. She reached out to me. She does catch the show later, but I did tell her she is supposed to be here, but she has been extremely busy. So we're going to forgive her. We're going to forgive her for that. And I agree. It's definitely alcohol is normalized. Uh, you got blamed for it. Well, you could take the blame and call it kudos or props that you got the props for making him do something that he's better off with not doing. My brothers, etc., same thing. They're always like, "Oh, you sure you don't want a Corona? You sure?" And it's been 15 years, so this is like a running joke for 15 years, and
Yeah,
they
but
don't.
think about this. Think how like acceptable it is for like you go anywhere, right? You're a sober person. You're like somebody offers you a beer, and you're like, no, no thanks, I don't drink. And then people never leave it alone, right? It's always a thing at a party. Where's your drink? Where's your drink? And it's normal to do that to somebody. But alcoholism kills people. It's a real addiction, right? Turn it into any other drug, right? You show up to the heroin party. Would it be acceptable to be like, come on, dude, why aren't you banging heroin? Let's just do like one rig. Let's do some heroin. You would think that that person's an absolute monster. But in the same breath, you would call somebody your friend that will do the same thing to you or somebody that you think, care about or whatever. That's how normal it is in our society. Alcoholism's the only addiction that you can die from withdrawal wise. All the rest of the addictions, you might feel like you're going to die, but it's not going to kill you. You can have seizures, you can have all sorts of shit coming off of alcohol. But oh, you sure you don't want to drink? Yes, I'm absolutely sure. You sure you don't want me to burn your house down or beat the shit out of your brother-in-law or wreck my
That's it.
car?
Yep.
Like that's not cool.
And usually, honestly, and I think there's definitely a connection with mental health because alcohol, where you're drowning away problems. You don't want to face certain realities, so you drink it away.
Self-medication.
And the fact is, there's just so much money to be made off of alcohol. We were talking about the club scene. A bottle of Hennessy, 350, and I'm going back. I haven't been in music over 10 years. So, gosh, it's been way more than 10 years. Samson's 10 years old. I quit when my daughter was a baby, so it's probably been close to 20 years. And I'm going back to the days, may he rest in peace, DMX, Terror Squad. Like I'm 90s hip hop, early 2000s. So a bottle back then was $350 in the club. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shots are $10, $12 for a shot for something that costs literally cents. I think a shot of top shelf liquor is about back then 30 cents and you're paying 10 to 12, $15 for it. So
To keep the
yeah,
lights on with it.
yeah, and if you, and it's just too much
Ooh,
money to be
yeah.
made.
I didn't
So
think
so
about benzos.
So let's think about this one, right? We talk about the pandemic and we talk about essential business. I mean, liquor stores were considered essential business from day one.
Right.
Okay.
Why is that
Uh,
essential?
we had a recession a few years ago and there were two industries that made more money. Liquor and cosmetics, Um, people still needed to look beautiful. When I say people, I don't care if you consider me sexist. Women, okay, it's mostly women. Cosmetics made money, and liquor companies made money. So, all right. So, is there anything that you want to talk about? I really appreciate it. I don't know if you realize this, but I have had 15 14 or 15 guests since our first show. This is, I believe, the 16th or 17th episode of What's in Your Cup.
That's awesome.
Okay, never would have imagined that we would be doing this, months later. That's why, like I said, I was having a little patch, and I was like, you know what, I need to reconnect with Sean. We need to do another one. So when I asked you, dude, can you come back on, please? And you were like, yes. I was like, all right, let's make this happen because
Seen a lot of
you.
copycat stuff, a lot of coffee and chat and stuff. Seen some copy.
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned that. So yes, there are other people's having convos and coffee,
Mm-hmm.
which is to me awesome.
Yeah.
There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people in this community. So I think that that's really, really awesome that other people have taken the format. I know when we first started, about 2 or 3 weeks in, I get a phone call from my buddy Sal, from Gomez Pythons, and he says, I really like your What's in the Cup. He said it's a breath of fresh air. It's something different. Now, mind you, he's a third shift worker, so he's catching it on his ride home from work, and I started getting a lot of good feedback and started getting DMs and we started getting regulars, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. We're doing something different than what's out there. So I just thought it was cool to hear that. And then when you start seeing others doing it, to me, that's the greatest
You're
testament
doing
right
something
there.
right, right?
When others start replicating something that you started months ago, so I take it as a compliment. Obviously, we're doing something that they see has potential, that is good, and the way I see it, the more the merrier. Just don't be a prick and don't do it during my Wednesday at 7
Right.
a.m. That's it. Let's have one every morning. 7 days a week, so people can start their day off and listen and whatever the rest. But they'll always be the first one, Sean, and that was our show. I don't care how many are out there. I don't care what their names are. No one can show that they did it before us 16 weeks ago. Okay, it's in the books. It's in the archives. It's on record. So I'm definitely. I'm happy. I'm happy with where it's gone. I'm happy that people want to be on it. I'm happy that people reach out and ask when are they going to be on it. It's just awesome. So we need to get to 1,000 subscribers, so we have more people that are sharing the gift of time that we get from you and from other guests, and that's why I want to get there. So I really, really appreciate that. So is there anything that you want to share before we wrap up? We've gone into our hour and a half mark.
I just saw somebody say something about surrounding yourself with positive people. I would say here to that. Uh, PMA. That's a really important thing. Positive mental attitude. Uh, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do, or no, excuse me, it doesn't matter what people do to you. It's how we react, right? At the end of the day, you are responsible for what you do. So people can be shitty to you. They can do whatever awful thing to you, as long as you don't, you know, be positive. Try to be positive every day. That's it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That takes intentionality. We all like I said, yesterday was a stressful day for me, but the one thing that I saw was, well, look, my son is okay. Everything is fine. Everything worked out. We're moving. We have great opportunities that are coming. I'm getting some people are trying to figure things out during this pandemic and everything. And although certain doors have closed for me, like my contract at Yankee Stadium and other endeavors, another door is opening, where it's literally, killing two birds with one stone. I don't want to go killing any birds, but that's what we're doing here because I'm giving my son a new environment. My daughter is a grown woman now. I have two beautiful grandchildren, and I was able to do that for her at the same age. So I'm doing it for Samson now. So you have to look at the positive and try stay positive, because if not, there is so much negativity in this world that you can put yourself into a state of depression and put yourself into a serious funk. And the greatest way is to find. And I tell people, smile. Um, I've been saying it forever. It has a physical effect on it makes these juices flow through your brain that change everything. So you're kind of fooling yourself. And I know it sounds psychotic to smile when you're not happy or you're not feeling good, but smile. and
It's one of
and
those things that people say all the time, right? Just smile, it'll make you feel better. And it's you say that you're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. It really does. And that's one of the reasons I got gold teeth when my shit started
dude,
rotting out.
I saw
I
I
was
saw
like,
that picture the other day, and I was like, he got a gold tooth in the back.
I got two of them, right? And it was just so I could be like, well, now I look extra crazy or weird or happy or whatever, and it's going to force me to smile more, which is just going to in turn make me feel happy. I don't care if it spreads happiness to other people, but just smiling all the time, well, it's hard to be mad if you're smiling.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The two don't work.
It's the true
And
fake it till you make it, dude.
yep, it doesn't work. Literally, your brain reacts to it. It takes less muscles to smile than frown, if you want to think about that. And the fact that you woke up, okay, just remember, many people didn't wake up today. All right. So no matter how bad things are, you woke up to have another day to figure it out. And I always tell people, you've had adversity before, you faced adversity before, you've overcome it, obviously, to be here. Just remember those times. Remember the times you faced adversity. Remember the times that you thought you couldn't handle something, that, how am I going to ever fix this? You did. You fixed it.
Right.
It's not as
Absolutely.
bad as we think it is. So keep smiling, guys. Find a reason to be positive. And Sean, what do you always tell people? It doesn't cost money to be what? Do you remember? I love when you say it.
It doesn't cost money to be nice or kind to
It
people.
doesn't cost a thing
It's
to be
free.
nice or kind to anyone, guys. And you'll be surprised, okay, how when you're kind with others, you feel good about it too.
Tell
All
that
right.
stranger that you like their Air Maxes. Tell somebody you like their nails. Notice somebody's hair. Notice anything about anybody. Say one compliment to somebody. It will change their day. They will do it. It's a ripple effect, right? And make your
And
bed every day. Make your bed every day. That's like a super important thing to do. Make your bed.
wow, that's my SBB right there, man. That is my SBB right there. And the reason, it's so funny, I manage the Salesforce Empire Today. I manage the New Jersey market, and I used to tell people, make your bed first thing in the morning, because you leave your house already with a
I
sense of
don't know if I could do
accomplishment.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Like a sense of accomplishment. You complete one task, which makes it easier to complete more. When you come home, it looks like somebody cares about you because it is somebody caring about you. It's you. Make your bed. Get up.
that's
Make the
it.
bed.
Well, brother, I want to say I thank you so much for coming back on. You will always be invited here. You can come on whenever you want. This is your house too, man. Um, this is a great thing that's going on. Thank you all for the kind words. I really appreciate all the kind words you guys gave us, and that you appreciate the show and the gift of time that we give you.
Thanks, Benny.
Benny, we gotta link up. There goes my where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Bam, right
There you
there.
go.
Okay. So guys, be kind. Be kind to others, and you'll figure out that you're being kind to yourself in the end.
It's
There is a
free.
little, and
It's
it's
free.
free. Okay, and it's free. So yes, I actually got that from the military. I wasn't in the military, but I heard someone from the military, I believe it was a Navy man, talking about knocking out that first accomplishment first thing in the morning, and you're already on the road to more accomplishments. But guys, thanks, Sean, for being with us. Make sure you're
Thank you for
following with
having
him.
me.
Hey guys, Dream Chamber 2.
Or
Join
one.
us.
or
In
3.
Dream Chamber 2, I'm pushing 2, 2, 2. Bam, 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 bam. Dream Chamber 2.
All
Make
right,
it a
yo, be
great day,
good.
guys.
Be
Have
safe.
a great
Bye.
day, brother. Thank you.